Hello, I'm Mayor Brad Pike. Welcome to the Explore Eagle podcast, where you can learn more about our City of Eagle and our community.
Welcome to the City of Eagle's Explore Eagle podcast. I'm Dana Biberston, the Public Information Officer, and of course, this is Mayor Brad Pike. And today we're doing something a little bit different on the podcast. We're switching roles. So I'm going to interview Mayor Pike and ask him some questions. Over the past 7 months, I've had the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better, and I thought it would be great to have the public get to know you a little bit better as well. And what better format than having a conversation?
Absolutely. It's always a scary moment when you are vulnerable to people and questions come out, but here I am.
Well, we're so grateful for you being willing to have this conversation. So to get started, I thought you might be interested, the public might be interested in knowing a little bit more about what is it like to be a mayor?
Well, I would say, first of all, that it's a daily roller coaster. But with my background, I treat every situation that comes our way as, in the fire service, it would be called a call, where you go out on an emergency. I look at it from that perspective. Every day there's something new, and that's the uniqueness I really like about it. I'd say the biggest thing for me is expect the unexpected. And that's really the two things I use, Dana, is communication and education. So I like being a sponge. I like learning every day, and I'll also squeeze out some of the knowledge that I obtain. And sometimes the answers aren't going to be exactly what the public wants. But we also have a set of rules and laws and statutes and codes that we have to work through. So it's really just educating the people to the process. It's not being autocratic. It's not being, I'm saying no because I'm the mayor. It's saying yes because I'm the mayor. It's really understanding what parameters we get to make decisions on, and then explaining those situations the best we can. And of course, we're not always going to be harmonious, but we're all human beings. So we all have different reasons, values, ways of life and stuff. So I think really explaining where I come from and my position and why I'm doing it, that's the best I really can provide to the citizens.
So one of the things you talked about was your profession. What are some of the things that you did before you came to Eagle and to become a mayor of the City of Eagle?
Well, Dana had quite a long list of opportunities to do things. I was a college baseball player.
Wow.
I was able to go from that point after graduation to be a professional baseball coach in Guatemala.
Wow.
And worked for their Pan American team, which was their Olympic committee, which I was paid for to be down there, which was a unique experience within itself, just the culture and everything. After coming back from Guatemala, I was able to teach junior high for a couple of years, not knowing exactly what my calling was yet, but I know I wanted to work with people and I liked helping people. So I actually went through a San Bernardino County Sheriff's Academy to be an officer, and realized my personality wasn't quite there. So I became a fireman. And so my career was in firefighting, and I spent 25 years in that. I retired at the rank of captain. I never thought I'd get into politics, but there was a road, a 2-lane highway, much like between Eagle and Star back in the day, with 2 lanes, and people were having head-on collisions, and we had 24 deaths in 2 years. And so being in the fire service myself and living in that community, I felt something needed to be done with that highway. So I started a grassroots campaign, and we collected signatures and took them all over the state to our state representatives, the governor's office, Caltrans, and presented them on the steps of the Capitol in Sacramento, and we got a highway fixed. So I was very humbled and fortunate to be called to lead that grassroots effort. But with that, when you step out, you kind of get into the realm of politics either way, whether you're a citizen or you're an elected official. And so people asked me to start think about running for office. So I ran for city council in the city of Hollister, and I was fortunate enough to win. And then we have a soft mayorship there because we have a city manager in those cities. So the 1 year I was the mayor, which basically you run the meetings, you sign the checks, you do the pomp and circumstance, handshakes, kissing babies type things like that. And the reporters come and they have, you answer to the city, for the city. That was unique in itself, but I was burning the candle at both ends. It was 24-hour shifts. I was doing the city council stuff. I was still working with the highway. Public safety and public service is a calling for me, so I've never looked at this as a job. But after we're retired, we moved up here to Eagle, Idaho. And the reason we came here was we had some friends that lived in the area, and they said, you need to come check out Eagle. And quite frankly, I said, where is Eagle? I knew where Boise was, and I'd been here in 1975 in a youth group, and much different back then than it was here. And but we fell in love with it like everybody else that's coming here. We one of the key things for us was we saw 3 little girls riding their bicycles downtown by themselves, no parental supervision, adult supervision. We're going, wow, that reminds us as kids when we were able to have the freedom and to be out and about and just be home before the street lights come on type thing. And so we knew, okay, we want to look deeper into this city and see what's going on. So we looked around different places, but we fell in love with this place, and we moved here in 2012, and we've been here ever since. And we've progressed to this opportunity today. I'm sitting humbly in the seat of mayor, and I'm willing to and looking forward to serving the public still. So
that's fantastic. You moved here from California, but you probably weren't looking for politics when you moved here. So how did you bridge that gap from retiring, moving here to Eagle, Idaho? How did you decide to get involved in politics again?
Well, like I said, Dana, it's a calling. So what I did is when we got here, I'm a doer, so I can't sit around, and you can only watch so many episodes of Gilligan's Island or Andy Griffith's show. And so for the people that remember those shows, so I still felt the nudge inside me to do stuff. So I actually went to the Eagle Fire District and ran for a fire commissioner seat there and was appointed. I'm in my 2nd term, been in 6 years now with them. And just I was able to still have that connection with the fire service. So it was just a natural progression for me. And then from there, I just kept feeling the nudge. It wasn't enough. I wasn't able to participate in the community the way I wanted to, and to get involved and to network and to try to find solutions to problems. So ran for city council. I got elected. And of course, this last election, I was fortunate enough to become the mayor for the city of Eagle. It's always been fluid. It's always been natural for me. It's not been a struggle. Politics is a huge struggle, don't get me wrong, but as far as the progression of what's going on in my life, it's a natural step. And I just feel like I just love serving people. It sounds corny sometimes, but my whole career has just been based on that. You have to look at it in a unique perspective when you're in public safety, that when somebody calls for your help, you don't care what the color of their skin is, what religion they are, what nationality, what political affiliation they are. You just go and serve them. And that's the mentality I'm bringing to the city of Eagle. That's honestly how I think I'm supposed to be doing it, as a servant to them. And sometimes that doesn't resonate with people because they think there's something phony, there's something different. You can't really be that way, can you? Well, I'm telling you, quite frankly, yes, you can. And if it's a calling for you, you need to be willing to take that step and just kind of let things go in progression. And I'm a man of faith, so I believe God's leading me through this kind of stuff. And I'm not looking back. So whatever happens this day, tomorrow, it's all divine intervention, if you will, but I'm not worried about it. And if the public thinks I'm doing a good job, then I continue. If the public thinks that somebody can do a better job, then we support that person, because the bottom line is we want the public to be satisfied in their elected officials, and they're getting what they get from those people.
Absolutely. You mentioned having that public servant heart. What are some of those experiences that you've had in your life that led you to understand that you have that sense of compassion and wanted to get involved in public safety?
Well, here's the irony behind all this, Dana, is people are going to laugh, but I've been hit by a car twice in my life.
It's crazy.
The first time was very traumatic. I was in the hospital. I was in a body cast. At 12-year-old, it's a tough time. And I was in Little League and stuff, and I was not able to, play. But experiencing trauma for yourself and understanding what it feels like to actually be hurt, those memories don't go away. I mean, you don't dwell on them, but that was part of I think the drive for me is people were there to help me when I was injured and hurt. What can I do to help others when this situation happens to them? And the niche for me was, finally, I knew public safety was in my blood, but becoming a firefighter with the opportunity to diversely deal with all kinds of people, all kinds of situations at all times of day and night, that took a unique desire to want to do that. And I think that was the cornerstone of that calling was when I was the recipient, I was the patient or the victim, and I was able to receive proper treatment and health back then. So I wanted to take that and be able to push that forward and be able to provide the same kind of quality service for the public as a whole. So that was really my draw. If you want to know what triggered you to become a firefighter, that would be the time that I think started it all.
And that makes sense, to go through something where you're the recipient of compassion typically does motivate people to want to be that compassionate person for somebody else. Let's talk a little bit about your family. If you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about the family, the Brad Pike family. What does that look like?
Awesome. Well, I always like to brag about my family when I get the opportunity, but my wife Tammy and I have been married for 32 years. We've only been married to each other, and which some days it's unique in time, but that's just the way it worked out for us. I was a little older. I wanted to make sure that I had my 5 pillars of Pike, which my 2 boys, they're 28 and 26, almost 27, has always been told. But
what are those?
I feel like you need to have your education, you need to get a job, you need to get a house, you need to get married, and then you need to have kids. So that was the 5 pillars. I have 3 other siblings. As the oldest of the 4, I ran to college. My 2 boys, one was a Marine, and I'm very proud of that. He's once a Marine, always a Marine. Him and his wife live here in town. Our younger son, he lives with us still, and he's focusing on different challenges and things he wants in his life. And we're not in any hurry he has one side of the house, we have the other. But we've always loved animals. We have, our house is open to our friends. I mean, we just want to share what blessings we've had presented to us with others. And family life is just, it's the cornerstone. It should be the cornerstone of anybody's personal life. But me personally, I'm just blessed with the way it's worked out so far. And I couldn't be happier with that part of my life.
That's wonderful. Are there a couple of things that you find the public might want to know about that maybe they don't know, that are either in the works or things that you're proud of?
Well, taking a solid look at all of the complexity of what the city's going through right now. We have downtown mobility projects. We have fiber that's coming our way. We have a regional park that we're working with. We have other city parks that are working with developers coming in. And we have businesses that are coming and going, trying to pull in, sustainable a tax base, a strong tax base. Those are the things I'm working towards right now, because I don't want us to be that bedroom community that relies on one-time fees on rooftops that residential rooftops come in, because I want the public to understand the longevity is in having a solid foundation to our budgets for them as their taxpayers. But we have one of the lowest levy rates in the entire state, and we have the most affluent per capita citizens in the state. So it's kind of a draw between people. They like low taxes, but they want high-end service. And the expectation and the reality, that's where the flow's coming into play, because you have to appropriate those dollars in realms that sometimes the public doesn't really understand what's going on. Our budget is $61 million this year. We did not take the 3% increase for the property tax. We did not take our 1% foregone. And we were able to still bring on newer staff, enhance our sheriff's contract with the needs of the community before the wants. Everybody wants things, and we understand that. We all want them. But I look at it like when our children are little and we're struggling to, I want to provide them shelter, clothing, health insurance, food. Those are needs. Sometimes you don't get what you want. You get what you need. There is a huge light at the end of the tunnel now. We've already finished up Plaza in Eagle Road. We're going to be working on 2nd Street. Aikens is going to pop through to 2nd Street from Eagle. We're going to have a street signal at 2nd and State. So the fluidity of traffic moving around downtown, I think it will enhance local businesses. Local businesses want is foot traffic. They want people around them. So you draw them in via a restaurant or something else. Then afterwards they walk over to a shop and they go in and they look. And so it just helps rotate the tax base a little more fluid. And I don't want to lose tax dollars to the other cities. I mean, I'm just being frank about it. I want you to shop local. I want our tax dollars to stay within our own community. And I want us to be viable and stable for ourselves. We can only worry about Eagle, make sure we're maintaining the economic stability so the wants are being after the needs. And I really want to keep stressing that because I just think that's a better, healthier way of having your economy and having a better city.
Absolutely. That brings up a good point. I feel like a lot of people might have different opinions than what you might have, or you certainly see it on social media or other times where people have disagreements with either the way the city direction is going. Sometimes they agree, and I think that's wonderful too, but how can the public communicate with you? Do you want to hear what the public has to say? And if so, how can they communicate with you?
Well, it's funny that we just did a Mayor Minute, and that'll be airing. But there are 5, back to like the 5 pillars of Pike. There's 5 ways of communicating with me. I mean, you could call the city hall here, you could text me, you could call me, and the texting and calling is my personal phone number. I mean, not too many people are comfortable with putting that out, but I'm showing you I really want to communicate with you. And if I didn't want to, I'd be very alienated and be very restrictive of how to get a hold of me. We have email, obviously, and I get a ton of emails, and good and bad. I mean, but I think the frustration with people communicating with me is they just don't know. And I'm going to tell them right now, I don't have all the answers either, Dana, but I know where to go get them. I know how to look for them. Set up an appointment, come in, and I've had numerous people come in. Actually, somebody was frustrated just the other day. I said, come on in, let's talk. And they said, you mean your office now? I said, yeah. Are you available? I'll make myself available for you. So being receptive, and of course schedules, you can't always, accommodate everybody then. That's why it's good to kind of schedule them in. But if it's something that they seriously have a concern on, just email, text, or call and leave a message of what it is. Now, we have a civility ordinance that's out there right now too, that I will have a civil conversation with everybody. I will meet you at the 50-yard line. I won't pull you over. I won't get drugged the other way. We're going to have a good, honest discussion. Some people are frustrated because I'm not doing coffee with the mayor. My personal opinion is sometimes 1 week to the next, there's not enough information to really talk about, so you're just going in circles. But if people want to have a voice, that's where I'm saying, I'm here for you.
So what are some fun facts about you that people may not know?
Well, some of the things that's hidden, I guess you could say, but I have a bachelor's degree in commercial art, so I'm actually an artist. I play guitar. I love doing puzzles. That's just my veg out time, if you will. I don't have an opportunity these days to do those, but I like doing yard work. I like working out. Next month I'm 66, so it's getting harder for me to lift weights, but I really enjoy that because it gets a lot of stress out of you. Did I already say I had long hair?
No.
Yeah. My hair was longer than yours, Dana.
Whoa.
Back my freshman year in college. And then my second year, had a girlfriend in college that was in cosmetology, and I actually let her do a perm. So you can imagine long hair, big bushy hair, but then a perm. And I have some photos. If someday maybe we'll share those with people. But yeah.
You probably need that with the schedule that you keep as City of Eagle Mayor. You got to got to have your A game on. Every day is a busy day with new things to do and new opportunities. So probably.
Well, I never have to comb my hair. Okay,
That's perfect. Your hair's always
I don't have to
ready.
get ready. Yeah, so.
Well, Mayor, thank you so much for taking a few minutes today to talk to us. And for those of you watching the podcast, I hope you've enjoyed this opportunity to get to know Mayor Brad Pike in a little bit different light. And if you have any future topics you would like covered on this Explore Eagle podcast, please email your ideas to PIO@cityofeagle.org. I hope we get to do this again and look forward to seeing you on our next Explore Eagle podcast.
Thanks, Dana. This is great.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Explore Eagle podcast, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve you as the Mayor of Eagle. If you have any topics you would like us to discuss on the podcast, please email us at pio@cityofeagle.org.